What has been your biggest fuck-up leading up to this point in life? Rail and ended up slipping and hitting my gooch in just the right spot that it tore my urethra. Had a catheter for about 3 months after that. Velp. That's enough Reddit for today. On my 16th birthday my much older brother killed himself. My regret is that I had called him to ask him to come out with my friends and I to celebrate at a local restaurant. But on the first ring thought he probably doesn't want to hang out with a bunch of 15 to 16-year-olds and hung up the phone. They found his body the next morning. I will never be whole again. Choosing the wrong degree multiple times. A few years ago finally decided on computer science. And I fucking hate it. Only have like 8ish classes left so I would be stupid not to finish it but I have no desire to do anything computer science related. Once you have your degree, there are sometimes transfer agreements/accelerated programs that might be an option. So you could study something else in a shorter amount of time. Quitting a job before I had another one, long story, which led to my savings being drained and my credit card debt soaring through the roof. I've recovered about a year later, but my savings are basically non-existent as I spent all of my excess paying down debt. Sometimes you need to leave, it's hard to do but it's usually the right decision. I just quit my job with nothing lined up. I was about to kill myself when I realized that if I just quit at least I'd be able to be alive still and it might be worth it. I'm still depressed as fuck, but at least I don't have that shitty fucking job. You did the right thing. Baby steps. You looked out for yourself, you said my life will be better without a shitty fucking job and now you can move forward and focus on what makes you feel whole. Also remember, it's okay to feel sad and depressed and happy. These are all parts of being human. We are brainwashed to think being happy is the default. That's not true. Happiness is just one component of life, and being a whole person means experiencing all emotional states. This is a win, buddy. Now go live your life with a new chapter. Holding on to hate and resentment about my dad has fucked it up mentally. Instead of dealing with it in a healthy way, I've held on to the hate and resentment and have blamed him for everything wrong in my life. I'm in therapy now and trying to unlearn toxic behaviors. Tried to kill myself when I was 24. Did the whole inpatient thing in therapy. Now I'm 28, still living with my parents and struggling to win the battle with my mental health. Really frustrating. I just want to be a functional adult. Kid with wrong person. Really ends your life for the most part. I'm in this position. I'm sure I can pick up the pieces but I know it's going to take a very long time. I've effectively pissed away my youth though. Me too, and it was really hard for many years. But now my daughter is about to turn 18 and she's an absolute go-getter who is getting into a great college. I'm so happy I have her. I did this as well. Your life isn't over. It's going to be hard, but you can still salvage it. It will never be perfect, but nothing really is. For the most part. I am forever grateful I never had a child with my ex. Staying with someone for way too long because I thought I could help them. I was 25 when I met her. She was broken and very needy. She had a lot of issues with herself, mainly she always felt insecure and inadequate. For those times when she was okay, everything was amazing and she was the best person to be around with. But those times were rare, she was jealous about anyone and everyone. I didn't even hang around my friends anymore because she would make me feel guilty later on and she could never get along with them. I always thought I could help her, but only after everything fell apart did I realize that in my effort to always be there for her I broke myself. We broke up 2 years ago. I'm now 33 and just starting to fix relationships that I've abandoned because I was too focused on her. I don't blame her at all because that was my choice, but it's been hard. This cut deep. Not because the same happened to me but because my case is exactly the opposite. My girlfriend broke up with me last week and I've been devastated, but what hurts the most is to realize that I was to blame. I have a lot of issues with myself and she tried to help me, she was always there for me, but I just kept giving her problems. My problems. I know she'll be okay, but I'll always regret the way I treated her. Being scared of what people thought. We all go through that at some point. It takes a lot of personal growth to overcome that state of mind. Especially when you're in your 20s. Starting to smoke. I was a super heavy smoker. I was driving home from a charity event for American Cancer Society, I recognized the irony, and I stopped at a rest stop to grab coffee. I was having a cigarette and a lady who had, barely, survived lung cancer came up to me in the parking lot and asked me to quit. She said, "I wish someone just came up to me and asked me to quit, so that is what I am doing for you. Please quit before it's too late." And so I stopped at the drugstore and got the patch. The process is uncomfortable and it took me a year of using it to finally come off of it, but it's been 6 years since I have had a cigarette. Please quit before it's too late. My mother just finished treatments for lung cancer and asked me to pick up 2 packs at the gas station because she's too weak to drive yet. Nicotine is a hell of a drug. Good on you for quitting. A lot of people think there's no point in quitting if they already have cancer, but if you're in treatment, smoking is making your treatment less effective. It slows healing after surgery and increases the risk of complications, and chemo and radiation are not as effective. I should have stood up for myself and others multiple times instead of worrying about what others were thinking of me. Edit. Wow. Thank you for the awards and comments. I wish I had some crazy wisdom to impart, but all I can say is I believe in all of you and we've got this. 2.5 years ago, in my last semester at college to become a props and paint person for TV and film. I went to college at 30 when I finally figured out what I wanted to do with my life. I helped a team lift a very heavy set piece. It was too heavy, we didn't have enough people, but we got it to where it needed to be. Turns out that lift fucked up both of my wrists. For life. Spent the next 2 years after graduating trying to fix them, figure out what was even wrong. End result? We don't know what's wrong, we can't fix it. Look into long-term pain management. So now I can't work the industry I wanted to be in, and I also can't even do a lot of the stuff I used to do. Can't lift anything more than 15 pounds without it hurting. I finally got a part-time job at an escape room. I could have been working in TV, or at the very least, theater. But I can't bend my left wrist and any sort of repetitive actions hurts like a motherfucker. Guess what needs full mobility and functionality of my hands? Making props and painting sets. Being a floater. Meaning being friends with multiple friend groups in life without really being a solid part in any one. Left with none eventually. Edit. Floaters unite. Thank you all for all the kind words. It's nice to not feel alone in this. I don't know how to be a solid part, people just don't invite me, so there's no point in a one-way relationship. I don't claim to be an expert, but my advice is to change the focus from trying to get others to invite me to trying to be the person who invites everyone. My experience has been that most people want to be part of a group but lack the confidence or initiative to make it happen, so there are tons of people out there, like yourself, hoping other people will invite them to things. Might as well be the one doing the inviting. Also, there will absolutely be lots of people with whom you just don't click, and that's fine. You don't need to, or want to, be close friends with everyone. But you won't find close friends without striking out with a lot of other people first, and you can't strike out unless you're stepping up to the plate. So decide on something you enjoy doing, and invite people to do it. Repeat until you have a decent group of friends that consistently like doing those same things you do. Probably dropping out of my dream college to be closer to my now ex. Regret that decision every single day. Edit. I did not expect anyone to see this lol for real. I just signed up for Reddit today, but thank you all for the words of encouragement and sharing your experiences too. It's kind of comforting in a weird way knowing that I'm not the only one to make this mistake. Is the dream college no longer an option? It's still very much an option but nowhere near viable with my current situation. That was a very trying time in my life and it kinda destroyed me on the inside, and now I have fears of going back and failing again just like last time. I think you should still give it a shot. You're a stronger and wiser person now. Getting married to the wrong person. It led to a lengthy divorce in which time my ex tanked me financially. It took me years to recover. Edit. Tanked and financially because I don't know how to type. Right there with you on that one. It's been 8 years and I'm just now seeing the light again. So you're saying there's hope? Almost 3 years out and it's starting to get pretty lonely. But I have a better job, money and savings for the first time in my life. Took me 12 years. Lost my house, car, credit and eventually my dog because I couldn't care for her myself. My parents took her. Now I have a career, live in Hawaii, my credit, an amazing partner and nice car, although I doubt I will ever buy a house again. Feels good. Losing friends because I didn't put effort into maintaining the relationship. Nobody tells you when you're a kid just how hard it is to make new friends once you're past your college years. Me too. And I was very self-conscious of how clingy, needy I could be, and I overcompensated by being distant and cool and unbothered. I hope 2020 will be a year of new friendships for you. Edit. I'm a little bit overwhelmed by the replies. So many of us on the same boat. Some can let go and move on, some are still plagued by those decisions. Sometimes I even avoid my parents' calls because I don't want them to think I can't be independent or worry them over me not adjusting. Sometimes I get a text and sit on it for hours so that the other person won't be burdened into an immediate conversation. But baby steps, guys. Tomorrow if I smile at you and you don't smile back, I'm not going to second guess and ponder over it. I'll keep greeting you with a smile. As I've gotten older, it's always one-sided. Usually one person makes the effort until they realize it's only them trying to make things work and slowly drift off. People are so busy these days, or don't want to seem like a bother trying to get people to hang out, so the pond begins to grow and the distance widens between others. This shit home all the way. And it's double when you're already a loner, and sometimes you can push people away but all you're doing is trying to figure out the balance of it all. Alcoholism. I've battled with it for about 10 years now, but really started affecting my life about 3 or 4 years ago. Before that I was a highly functioning alcoholic. I didn't realize this was actually a step into dysfunctional alcoholism and thought it was as bad as it would get. I was wrong. While I was still getting blackout drunk every other night, I managed to keep my job. But then my job got tired of me showing up to work drunk / still smelling like a brewery that they let me go. That was 3 years ago. I then jumped from job to job with brief dry moments, until 2 years ago I finally went to AA. I cried that night. Like ugly cried. Because I heard / saw a story that was identical to mine. After that night I went sober for about 350-something days. Then I relapsed. Pretty hard. I'm taking about 4-5 bottles of liquor in 4-5 days blackout benders. Got fired from my past 4 jobs for drinking on the job, and I have less than $200 to my name and currently unemployed. Rent is coming up and I don't have that. Oh, and my 30th birthday is next week. I'm terrified of my immediate future, but I'm 4 days sober and never touching alcohol again. Please. Please. Don't pick up the drink. She's a ruthless succubus who will suck you dry till you're an empty shell of your former self. Edit 1. Holy cow, I did not expect this to even get noticed, let alone get over 2.1k upvotes and countless replies / PMS. The overwhelming support from you guys is both strengthening and encouraging. Thank you for all those who replied and also shared their story. I will try and get back to every single one of you, till I get a job again. A lot have suggested r/stop drinking, and I know that community very well, as it helped me enormously when I was sober for almost a year. Not all of can be brought to our knees by alcohol. I know a lot of my peers who drink socially and are perfectly fine. I am not one of those people. Alcoholism runs in my family, grandpa, father, uncles, and working as a bartender doesn't help either. But I've done this before and I will again. Again, thank you all for your kind words, and I'll try and get back to you all, but I'm on mobile so it may take a while. Subscribe for more amazing stories. I said subscribe now. Otherwise this will open the door and eat you when you are asleep.